These are the top 5 mistakes that I see beginner Airtable users make. Number 1, too many bases. The whole point of Airtable is to keep all of your information in one place, one time. Eliminate redundancy, eliminate extra work, automate everything. That's what we're doing here. So if you see your Airtable base like a spreadsheet and you decide that, well, I have one spreadsheet for marketing, one spreadsheet for the creative department, one spreadsheet for operations, therefore I should have one base for each, then you're doing it wrong. Number 2 is too few tables. So looking at this example base, for instance, let's say that we represent clients and sellers, okay? People buying homes, people selling homes. You might feel compelled to come into Airtable, create a table called clients, list all your clients, their email address, phone number, and all those things, and then use a multiple select drop-down menu to show and indicate which properties they're looking at. This might feel good to you. Okay, so John Smith, he's looking at these two, and Sally is looking at that, and Mark is looking at this and this. What you need to have is another table, and we'll call this properties, and we'll link to another record. We'll add a new table. We'll call it properties, and we'll allow the link to multiple, and then we'll create the link. Now we can delete this, and we can say 123 Main Street here. We can say 555 Caldwell Avenue here, and we can say 65 Post Avenue here, and then you can look up those properties from within the client's base. This is going to become massively valuable for you in the future when you have to then bring information from the properties table into the clients table to trigger automations, to keep track of reporting, whatever it may be, and vice versa, right? Properties, you need to know how many clients are looking at my properties. So you can, for instance, say, I don't know, count field. You type in a count, and you just count the number of clients, You just count the number of clients, and now very easily you can say to people or display on your website somewhere that there are, 65 interested buyers. Or if you silo this by condition, maybe the condition is that they've submitted an offer or something like that, then you can say there are 35 offers in here or something like that. This is how you keep track of data in a very structured way. So that was number 2, too few tables. Number 3, too many tables. Let's say, for instance, you are a real estate agent and you have a table and you call the table 555 Caldwell Avenue, right? And then in the table, you start listing, okay, well, it's John Smith, Sally Jones, like these are all the interested parties, right? This is how you would use a spreadsheet, wouldn't you? You would list all the people, and then you'd say what their phone number was, and you'd say what the last interaction you might have had with them with regards to this property. And then you might find yourself saying, okay, well, I'm now listing another property. Let's just duplicate this table, and we'll change the title, and we'll call it 65 Post Avenue, and let's do it all again. And then if John Smith is interested in both properties, here you are. You're typing John Smith's information twice, his name, his phone number, all the contact information and CRM data that you have. It's all going to have to be duplicated like you've done in the past using spreadsheets. Instead, we're going to use this properties table. The properties table is going to have records. These records are going to be each one of these properties. Then within the clients table, we can use groups, views, So let's just create a view here of everybody who's looking at 55 Caldwell. And we'll just call the view 555 Caldwell Avenue. Okay. And we'll filter this by where properties contains 555 Caldwell. Now, this is that table you were going for in this way, right? You had an entire table where you were listing names. Now, you still use the same client information that you had in the root table. You've siloed it now by view, and you can see everything you need to know at a glance about the potential and interested buyers in 555 Caldwell, simply by using filters within a view from the clients table, assuming that the properties table is connected and related. Number 4, too few linked records. What we're looking for when we use Airtable is as many one-to-many relationships as we can find in our business. So let's say you are taking notes about a client and you open up a field here, and we'll make it long text, and we'll call this meeting notes or something like that. You select rich format, and here you are. You say, Jan 3rd, met with client, took them to see 55 Caldwell, whatever. And you say, February 5th, they made an offer. Okay? What have we just established? We've established a one-to-many relationship between clients and meeting notes. But we're not creating that relationship in the database. We're just using this fancy visual, superior to spreadsheet interface, and we're happy with it. May I propose that you create now another table, call this meeting notes. In the CRM business, they call it interactions. And we'll create another one. And we'll say, link to multiple records for sure. Let's call it interactions. So that we have a unique name. And now in the interactions table, we have the client, we have the note, okay, which can be long text with rich format, and then we have a date. Okay. And now we can say Sally Jones, Jan 3rd, had initial meeting with Sally. Okay, and then we can do another one. Sally Jones, right? Too many. Here we go. We've got Sally Jones. Made an offer on 555 Caldwell of $250,000 or something like that, right? The date of this one, we can say is April 5th, 4th, whatever. On and on and on and on and on. And then back in your clients table, you can use a roll-up field to roll up the information and display it anywhere you want. Again, to recap, look for as many one-to-many relationships as you can within your business and connect them all using a web of relationships between different tables in Airtable, and it will unlock an unlimited amount of power for you and your business. Last but not least, and I see this one all the time, too many linked records. Let's say that you have a property here and you want to know which client has submitted the number one top offer the number 2 top offer, the number 3 top offer, right? You want to know like who are the 3 clients that you need to be paying attention to the most with regards to each one of these properties. So you might open up a field here and you might say, let's link it to clients. And let's call this number 1 prospect, not linking to multiple records, only linking to a single record. And you can say, great, let's say Sally Jones. She's the number 1. We know that, right? Then you might say, okay, well, I want to also, right? Max says you got to have as many, connections and relationships and linked records as possible. So let's do it again. Let's duplicate this field. And let's call this the number 2 prospect as a buyer for this. We'll call it link to clients. And then we'll say that John Smith. And then God forbid you do it again. And you say, I've got number 3. And this looks pretty and it's great. And you might think you're doing it correctly. And everybody does this in the beginning. But remember this. There should only be one linked record field between the same 2 tables. Because what you've got here is called a many-to-many relationship. One client, Sally Jones, could be looking at many properties. You see, she's got 2 here, right? But one property could be looked at or being considered by many clients. That's called a many-to-many relationship, and you solve it using a junction table. And a junction table sits in between and establishes this cherished one-to-many relationship between 2 tables twice. So you have this table with that many-to-many relationship and a junction table in between with 2 one-to-many relationships between those tables. That's how you do it. In this case, we're going to call it, let's call it offers, right? So what does an offer have? An offer has an amount. Okay. We'll give it currency. An offer also has, a drop down, stipulations. Right? I'm doing this to show you that this is where you can define the unique attributes of Sally's interaction with 55 Caldwell and John's interaction with 55 Caldwell in the junction table. And without it, you really can't accomplish those nuances. So the stipulations are, waived inspection or something like that, or all cash, or whatever it is that home sellers are interested in knowing. So you can say, and then you have to say, sure, status is still good. We'll say client. In this case, we'll say we got 1 client is with regards to this offer. And then we're going to say property and 1 property. And we'll say, in this case, Sally Jones is interested in 55 Caldwell. Okay. She's bidding $250,000. They're waiving the inspection. Okay. Then we'll say John Smith is also interested in 55 Caldwell. And he's got all cash offer of $260,000. Awesome. And we'll call this status is offered. And we'll say, rejected, and then accepted. Okay. And then we'll say rejected, accepted. And now we can go back to any table we want, in this case, properties, and we can say roll up, accepted offer. And then we say, roll up from the offers table the amount where status is accepted. And in this case, we can do array join values, and we create. And there you go. You got your 260,000 is your accepted offer, and you can do that over and over and time again with the junction table. Break through that many-to-many relationship, create that one-to-many relationship 2 times using the junction table, and that is it. Good luck.